Good afternoon and welcome to Omnibros Live. I'm Omnidog from Omnidog's Vault on YouTube, joined by Comics Guide 101's Lou. Lou, how's it going, dude?
Hey, how's it going? I hope you can hear me and see me well. I'm on my mobile right now, so.
Your mobile?
My mobile. Oh.
And there's Gabe Matrix.
What up, homeboys?
Hey, Gabe.
Yo.
Yeah, we can see you fine, Lou.
Cool. Great.
Is Gio not joining us?
I don't think he was reading the book, but I don't know.
I don't know. Gio's usually on the Sunday show.
Yeah. Well, we can get started by talking about InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. There's always an Omnibros Live code every quarter. If you're $50 or more in an order in the United States, you get free shipping, which is crazy great. Crazy great customer service. Crazy great packaging. That's InStockTrades.com.
I love them.
Thank you.
We love them, man. We love them.
Oh, we do love them. Yeah, we do love them. So we do have a little bit of news.
Word.
And our Bendis Daredevil discussion.
Yes.
Which Gabe has been excited about for like 2 weeks now.
He's been really hyping that.
I'm going to be covering Bendis and Brubaker on a Crime Corner special on Omnidog's Vault. To give that a plug at the end of the at the end of the month, which is March now. And so when they found out I was reading Bendis, they said, "Let's read it with you." And I said, "I think that's a good idea."
Man, I forgot how good that run is. Oh,
really is good. This is my first time reading it, and I'm digging it. Oh, there's a Week in Geekdom.
All right.
There he is.
Gio's in the house.
Hi, Gio.
Hi, everybody. I didn't read the book. I didn't read the book, so I'm going to stay quiet while you guys talk about it.
Are you okay being spoiled by it?
Yeah, I don't mind. It's an old series. I don't care.
20 years. This book, that's 20 years ago since I've read this.
It's Daredevil. I mean,
don't be talking bad about Daredevil.
Yeah, what?
No, I mean,
picking right off this broadcast.
That kind of came off a little condescending. Wow, I'm surprised.
No, I meant like it's a superhero. That's what I meant. Like, you know, cyclical in nature. Sorry.
Hey, I'll be right back. I got to take care of something.
All right.
Okay.
Let me put my lipstick on real fast.
But if it was a certain fish, somebody here would be excited right now.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I'd be down for an Aquaman read along if he actually had any books out to read.
Ooh, zing.
That's true.
It's funny because it's true. Yeah. All right, I'll be right back. Hey.
There you go. There's some really cool promo for my channel right there.
I know, that's funny.
How did that work out?
Because Gabe and I are sharing the same account. That's why.
Oh, okay. So it defaults to a Week in Geekdom. All right, so what are we talking about, man?
Well, we can talk. Let's see. We can talk about the Jim Lee, because we don't need Gabe for that particular news item. It was just a short thing that he said. Let me see if I can pull it up. It was just a short thing. He said, Newsarama has it that Jim Lee has indicated that DC won't replace former co-publisher Dan Didio, who recently exited the company. Speaking in his personal spotlight panel, blah, 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 Lee told the audience, "There's continually new things going on, and I look at being sole publisher now and the team I'm working with, much more in trenches now than ever before. We've been with Warner Brothers for decades. The actual strategy for DC is to put publishing at center of what we do. It's the engine of all the movies, TVs, cartoons we do. And so it's my intent going forward as the publisher to lean into the collective years of my team. They also seemingly but vaguely addressed rumors about Marvel acquiring DC Publishing. What? Which have made their way into some internet rumor circles of late, shooting down any chance of this. To address some of the stuff that is out there, there's rumors, speculation, Lee explained. I wouldn't put any credence into it. DC has been around for 85 years and will be around for another 85 years. I hope to be doing this panel in 85 years. Lee also spoke about the chances DC's impending 5G initiative would constitute yet another reboot, saying that's not in the cards. It's hard to talk about things we haven't announced. Intention not to do a line-wide reboot, Lee clarified. Our focus in talking to editorial team is to continue what we've done best. Character-driven stories, pairing right creators on right characters, and developing characters that are inclusive and diverse.
So what I'm getting out of that is that this is the end of DC Comics, right? Jess? That's
Yeah, it's
like
over.
it's done. And comic book stores are going to close, and everybody should panic. And the sky's closing, and Ethan Van Sciver was right, and the world is ending. That's what I got out of that. Because you can't trust Jim Lee, obviously. What does he know? What does he know? But Ethan Van Sciver knows, right? I mean, come on.
Ethan Van Sciver.
Rest in peace, DC Comics.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss them, man. I really am.
So it all sounded positive to me.
No, you got to read between the lines. You're not seeing as clearly as I am through Ethan's eyes.
I am not.
No,
I'm not.
No, I mean, I'm happy, man. I'm glad Jim Lee is overseeing it. He oversaw Wildstorm in the 90s and stuff like that. So he's got some history in this. It's cool. It's great. I think it's a great thing. Bring on the Jim Lee era, like fully just Jim Lee.
Yeah, I've always liked Jim Lee. I've never met him. I don't know anything about him personally, but for some reason I trust him, and I feel like he'll do a good job as sole publisher of DC.
Oh, are we talking about Jim Lee's?
He's back from his cramps.
Yeah, sorry, I had to change my tampon. We talking about Jim Lee being the sole publisher now of DC?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
No, Jim Lee is Korean, Robert Wright.
Correct. He was born in Seoul, Korea. I think he came over here when he was like 4, like a really young age. But yeah, I don't know what you guys said, but I like the idea. I trust him. I know I don't know him, but I've met him. I've hung out with him plenty of times. Great guy. Steady head on his shoulders, which is obvious. I mean, he's the publisher of DC, but if you think about it, he was also, the creator, one of the founding members of Image Comics. Mm-hmm. He was the creator and publisher of Wildstorm. So he has lots of comic book publishing, like the corporate side of things, like the things that, everybody's talking about, oh, get, Mark Waid or get Scott Snyder to be the publisher. Well, those guys don't really have that upper echelon of business sense and business experience like somebody like Jim Lee does. So I think, he's very well rounded in the creator idea of things and business side of things. So we'll see what happens. And then if 5G is a real thing and they reset the universe, well, let's see what happens.
It didn't sound like he intended to follow through on that. Am I mistaken in how I'm reading that?
It was vague.
Yeah.
It was something like they asked about it. He goes, DC's, it was kind of a canned answer. DC Soul.
Well, what I just read, I don't know, sounded different. Let me go back to that.
The thing I sent you guys in the chat, he more or less said DC's sole intent is to team up the best creators or the best characters.
Lee also spoke about the chances DC's impending 5G initiative would constitute yet another reboot, saying that's not in the cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it's a reboot.
I don't think it ever was.
I always said that the 5G stuff sounds like an internal thing, not necessarily something to promote, or I don't know.
It might have been, it might have been just an internal restructuring and it got leaked out and it was never meant to come out.
Yeah, because it's been a while and nothing came of it.
It's true. And people keep asking, what about 5G? What about 5G? It could, yeah. Like, I think you're right, Gio. It could just be one of those things where it was like, ah, shit, this wasn't supposed to come out.
Because it sounds also like too much cell phone talk. 5G network.
Yeah.
I think it might have just been one of those things. They're just saying, like, if you think about it, this is the 5th generation of DC Comics, and you know, people playing telephone and people just connecting dots that aren't there. It led to, you know, these huge rumors and speculations of they're going to change every character into an alien, or you know, everyone's going to be a female, and everything's going to be super woke.
I'm just gonna say an Aqua Woman would be pretty cool. Just saying. We've already seen it. We've already seen it in Earth 2, New 52, and Earth 11 from Morrison's Multiversity. So I wouldn't mind.
I think they should make it where Aquaman, because of seahorses, Aquaman can be pregnant and he carries his son.
I like that.
Yeah, that's super woke, and it kind of works. It's
Super woke. It won't offend anybody in the seahorse community. We'll get them all aboard.
That's right.
Okay,
that's
so there's that news, and there's some ISP comments already. And we, just so you know, we don't actually know the answers to these questions, so this is just speculation. We don't know until tomorrow.
Tune in tomorrow.
What's that?
Sorry. I was just gonna say you got to tune in tomorrow.
That's
yeah,
right.
you have to tune in tomorrow because we don't know, and Cameron usually doesn't know until the last minute when he runs his algorithms. Uncanny X-Force could be 50% off, or it might not be.
Even if we did know, we wouldn't tell you guys until the end of tomorrow's show to make you guys watch it. So
sure,
you have to earn. You have to earn
jerks that way.
Yeah, you have to earn.
Yeah.
Earn what finding out what 50% off is ahead of time by watching our show.
Yeah.
So if you want to know,
question, does ISP make DM variants regular price, or do both variants get 50%? Sometimes they're both 50%, and then in the case of the first Conan the Barbarian, the really good cover was only 40% off, and the really lame cover was 60% off. So we don't know. I did find out, which I didn't know. I just did a vid on collected editions that are essential for March, that JMS Spider-Man's going to have 3 covers.
Yep.
I had missed that because I'm not getting it, so I didn't pay attention to it.
Oh, you're not going to get it? I was going to ask you what cover you want.
Oh, I'm sticking with my very hard fought. I had to look high and low to find the hardcovers, so I'm sticking with them.
I don't know which one I want. I like the Joe Quesada cover because it's Joe Quesada, and I like the Ron Garney black suit one because it's the black suit Spidey. So,
this needs to be addressed.
Puff Comics, yeah.
Puff, yeah. It's in the pipeline. We just sent it to Emily, and you will be hearing back. You won, and you will be getting it. But Emily just got it probably today, and so you'll be hearing from her probably tomorrow.
Yeah, it's the weekend.
IST, the actual IST warehouse is closed on the weekends, man.
Yeah, so that's a good question, though.
Hopefully you get it in time.
I'm not getting that Omnibus because I got this. So.
Yes, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have all the complete collections or whatever?
I have that run in this format, the Ultimate Collections. Yeah,
perfect.
Those are hard to come by now.
They are, yeah. I think they're harder to come by than the hardcovers I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
This is actually my first Marvel stuff that I bought.
Actually, yeah, Omar is selling comics, and you can buy from him at cost. Just go to Near Mint Condition and tell him Napoleon Dynamite sent you.
And use the discount code Raw Shark.
Yeah.
You're going to get like 30% off, I think. So go for it.
Yeah.
But only if you really spam his inbox. Like, really.
Yeah. Like a lot.
Yeah, he doesn't. There's something weird about his inbox where unless you send 50 emails, it doesn't get a notification.
Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
Ask him questions about when a certain Omni is going to come out, like Uncanny X-Men 5.
He
Yeah,
loves that stuff.
yeah.
He
Tag
loves
him in every Facebook post that you can.
Yeah, we need to know when Uncanny X-Men 5 is coming out, so please send him a question about that. Okay, the next thing I'd like to talk about, and we've covered it before, but it seems really hot right now, hot as a subject, hot as a comic, and first we'll give a thanks to Gio for Prison School. I've loaned volume 6 to New York Nephew. He'll learn from Kiyoshi at Jingo how to achieve his first kiss. I have no idea what any of that means except for Gio.
Sure, no problem. I mean, that's a very raunchy book, so yeah.
Make sure you also give that kid Prison Pit as well.
Oh, I've seen that book.
If anybody knows what Prison Pit is, and Cannibal Fuckface. Which has got to be the coolest name in comic books ever.
I want to name my rock band that.
Yeah. If I have a third kid, he's coming out as Cannibal Fuckface.
The thing I like to talk about is comic book speculation.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Trigger.
Yes, I'm going to talk about it because I don't think it's healthy, because I think it's a waste of money. I think it is now it's not a waste of a lot of money, but that's me. It could be a lot of money to somebody spending $30 on eBay for the first appearance of Punchline, which is let's see, what Batman 89 is hot. Batman 92 and 92 is going to be hot because they changed 94 to 92.
The art germ cover,
yeah. So
it is a cool looking cover, though.
Did you know we can't see your face?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
That's fine. So I personally don't feel that buying new comics, brand new comics, with a new character appearance and spending 30 or 50 bucks on it on eBay is a healthy practice. I think it is a fast track. I think speculation is very hot in the market right now. We've got apps and channels and everything devoted to it. I don't have anything against those apps and channels. I have those apps and channels so I can keep up with things, and I fully support them. It's fine with me. But I do fear about speculation getting out of control and people getting not ripped off, but buying things for the wrong reason. What happens if Punchline turns out to be like a 2-appearance character and people don't like her and she never shows up again?
So I shouldn't buy those 50 copies of Wildcats #1.
No, you should.
No, yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I think this is the 90s all over again. It's that speculation market of people rushing to buy comics because of a new character because they think they'll make some serious cash out of it. So,
you know what? Just collect the way you want. Whatever. Collect the way you want. I'll just say this. Personally, yeah. Who cares? Because there's always been a lot of hype around this is the first appearance of a new character. A lot. I can't think. I mean, we can talk about it. We can probably figure it out. The last time a new character became super popular and stuck around, and their first appearance was actually, quote unquote, valuable. But maybe Kamala Khan, maybe.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I was going to say Kamala.
Maybe. Okay, so Miles, but that was like 10, 12 years ago.
Edge of Spider-Verse #2.
Yeah.
Spider-Gwen. Yeah, Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen, but that's still like another, that's like probably close to 10 years ago. That's 7 years ago, I think, something like that. Recently, Kamala, Cosmic Ghost Rider.
What about Miles? Miles Morales.
Miles. Yeah, that still was like 7-10 years ago almost, I think. But yeah, there's always been super crazy excitement over new characters. Think about what happened when anybody remember this character? Joker's daughter.
Oh,
Exactly.
God, that lame ass character.
Nobody cares. Lobo's daughter, Crush, recently. Nobody cares anymore. There was even like Punisher's, not Punisher, excuse me, Kingpin's daughter. There's always new characters coming out. I mean, that's kind of the secular nature of comics. You need new characters kind of move forward. But for any of these characters that actually have like a deep-rooted, lasting impact, it's been a long time since any of those characters came around. Like I said, probably Cosmic Ghost Rider is probably the newest one.
DC DH McAdams, I should say. You nailed it. That's the one right there.
Gold balls.
Gold balls.
Nailed.
Hey, he was the most important character in Hickman's X-Men run.
Yeah.
I loved what Hickman did with him.
But, I don't have a problem with people, getting the book and flipping it for extra money. I mean, that's just the way things are. If it's okay for, that's how comic book stores work, or any industry. Everybody, comic book stores get those books for, let's say roughly 50% off, and they sell it at full cover price. So they make a profit. So I have no problem with somebody else turning that around for $30. It's fine. It's just, again, collect the way you want, and more importantly, collect responsibly. Try not to fall into the FOMO of things. We've seen it happen. It happens a lot, especially in the Omnibus group, where you'll see somebody going like, "Here's my February haul," and it's like 60 hardcovers and like trades and omnibuses. It's like, that's cool and all, but are you going to be able to actually enjoy stuff like that? So that's really when it comes down to just have fun, enjoy what you do, collect the way you want, but just be smart about it and responsible.
Yeah. Well, that was my big thing. That was my breaking point, where I woke up one morning. I was like, "What the fuck do I have all these fucking books that I'm never probably going to read?"
Yeah.
I had a shit ton of stuff. So that's why I sold a bunch of it, and I just went digital.
Yeah, you start adding that stuff up in your head. You're like, "Man, I probably got a Geo Metro sitting back here."
Probably at the height of my collection. Probably.
Yeah.
Geo Metro.
You guys remember those? Geo Storm.
What a callback! Now, so I don't get called out as a hypocrite. I do sell Silver Age and Bronze Age comics myself. I collect from my collection that I've had slabbed, but I'm selling to fund my health care. So I am a collector. I get the collector mentality. I understand selling things for a profit. I totally get it. I'm also somebody who lived through the 90s, though, and I just remember what the speculation bubble did to the comics industry and to comic shops. So I think I'm coming from that place more than I am. I'm coming from that place more than I am trying to shame flippers, because I'm not. I'm not. They have every right to do that, and people have a right to buy them. I'm absolutely not. I'm just more concerned about what it says to the industry, and the mentality of rampant speculation. And maybe it's not rampant. I don't know.
I honestly, right now, I would say things like this, like the hype and the excitement and the enthusiasm for like, Punchline and first appearances like that. I'll be the contrarian and say I think right now that's good for comic book stores, in the fact that my store we were able to sell out completely of that Hell Arisen #3.
Yeah,
where that's her first full appearance of Punchline.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. So my store and probably every other store across the country completely sold out of that book. Where with my store and other stores, issues 1 and 2 of Hell Arisen just died on the shelf, just sat on the shelf. Nobody cared about 1 or 2, which is what's funny about this. Everybody bought 3, so obviously you're not reading it because nobody bought. I could prove to you nobody bought 1 and 2. But at least stores made all their money off of that book. Stores ordered 20 copies and they sold 20 copies. So they made their money. Good for them. Perfect. That's what we need. And I like the idea of like DC and these publishers coming out a little bit ahead of time and saying, hey, this is going to be a big book, or this happens in this book. to kind of garner that spotlight and that extra attention. Because what's even worse is stores order these books. They order just enough that they need to think to sell. And you find out after it comes out, it's the first appearance of Jenica, or Jenica becomes a turtle, or it's
Walking
the death
Dead.
of this character. Oh yeah, Walking Dead is the last issue of Walking Dead. And stores kind of miss out on being able to sell copies, or you have one extra copy on the shelf because you have 5 people who read Ninja Turtles, so you order 6 copies. That kind of thing. So this is a good thing where stores are able to make money and profit and be sustainable and be solvent. What you need to worry about, and on Justin's idea with 90s comics and 90s speculation, what happened there is stores are being irresponsible and ordering hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of copies of books that they couldn't sell. And that's what sunk. That's a small part of the larger equation of what caused the speculation boom and what caused the bubble to burst in the 90s is because stores are irresponsible. And that's why you could find stores that have long boxes and long boxes and long boxes of X-Men #1 sitting around, and Nova #1, and Batman Spawn lying around, and stuff like that. So as long as the stores are responsible and they don't go and like, oh well, I sold so many copies of Batman '89, and people were talking about it, and I sold them all, so I might as well double up on Batman 90. And Batman 90 is a flop and nobody cares, and it's not a first appearance, and you're sitting with 100 copies of it. And that's when things hurt, and that's when stores and the industry start digging themselves into a hole. So that's my perspective.
Yeah.
So it's
how many issues are?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Lou.
I was gonna say, because I'm behind because I stopped reading Tom King's run. How many issues are we into this new Batman run?
89 is the newest one that came out. 90 comes out this Wednesday, I believe.
So we're 1 issue into it.
1 issue into what?
The new Batman run.
The new writer.
No, James Tynion took over with 85. I want to say.
Was it 85?
85. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I need to catch up with that because he's a good writer.
He is a good writer, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's changed my mind. Maybe it's good for comic book stores, and maybe it's exciting and pulling readers in, and it's a good thing.
As long as they're responsible. As long as stores are responsible and they don't see this as like a cash grab, because that's when you start getting into the rules of diminishing returns, where it's like, I sold 30 copies of Hell Arisen #3. I bet you I could sell 75 copies of Hell Arisen #4, and then you get nobody buys it. So you still have to be conservative and be smart and stuff like that. That's what killed the industry in the 90s. One of the factors that did. I could get into a whole long diatribe. I could do six videos of what really killed the 90s comics.
I like Robert White's question if you guys want to address it real quick.
Question for the bros. These big hardcovers coming out quick, like War of the Realms and Absolute Carnage, no people trade weight. What's the appeal of single issues anymore?
Can I go first? Do you mind?
Yeah, please.
You do.
Okay. For me, I see the appeal as a handful of things. One, you got the Wednesday Warriors. You got the guys who they love. They've been doing it for years. They come in every single Wednesday. It's part of their routine. It's part of their habit. And they just love going into the shop on Wednesdays and talking to the guys at the store. These are your regular customers where they've actually built a repertoire with the manager and the staff there, and like, hey, how's it going? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? So there's that appeal. You've also got the guys who they don't want stories to be spoiled, because in this day and age, I could wake up Tuesday morning and already the newest issue is spoiled for Wednesday, if I'm not careful. So you've got those guys that are like, I don't really want stories to be spoiled for me or big reveals to be spoiled, so I'm gonna hold out and I'm just gonna pick up my books Wednesday morning, first thing in the morning, before or after work. So there's that appeal, because you have to. The thing is with trade waiting, as much as we love it, is that you are waiting for them to collect 6-7 issues, and let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, you get stories spoiled for you. You get big reveals spoiled for you. The shock really isn't there. Mm-hmm. So I think there's that. There's also the convenience factor for certain people. They read a single issue, they just put it on a pile, and that's the end of it. They don't really have to worry about it. Yeah, you've got certain collectors that they'll do the long boxes and stuff like that. Though I don't think. I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't think the long box thing is as much as it used to be. I would imagine that's kind of going away. And there's also the slabbing. You can slab a particular cover that you really love, and you can hang it up on the wall, and it looks really cool. Some people just like the covers, and it's a piece of art. It makes it a lot easier to do that. So there's various different factors in why I think people are single issues versus collected editions. It's really just however you want to read it, man. I know for me, I'm digital, like I've said it 1,000 times, and I love the fact that I can just wake up Wednesday morning and, it's already on my Kindle. I can just read whatever I want and not have it ruined.
Also, I'll chime in just because I'm actually neck deep into this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. It's all a preference thing. It's all a preference thing. Some people like to. So let's use this as an example as well. Binge watching, say, like The Mandalorian. So what's the point of releasing that series, those episodes weekly, when you could just release it all at once, or people could just wait till it's all out and watch it all at once? Well, same with single issues. When you release it weekly or monthly, you have the option to read that and be able to actually talk about it amongst your friends and continue with the story. And it's a preference. You like it weekly, so that way you have your habit, you have your ritual going on. And it's the same, like I said, it's the same as binge watching a show. You can trade wait if you want. You could wait till everything's released at once, or digitally. It's the same thing. So it's a preference thing. Some people like it. Some people like to have each issue individualized, so they have the covers. So it's just a preference thing for people.
Yeah. I can't add what you guys said.
I choose to trade weights, and I'm sure same with Jess and anybody else out there that trade weights. It's a time factor. I just don't have time to sit and read a single issue, multiple single issues at a time. And by the time the next issue comes out, I have so much going on, I forgot what happened in the last issue. And, I prefer to read it. It's my preference to read the whole story kind of at once. So
Wednesday Warriors. I like that.
Yeah, Wednesday Warriors. Those guys are the ones that keep the shops open and keep the industry afloat. And you get it, it creates a community kind of thing. As well. No, I'm not saying the community goes away if the comic book industry all went, like manga style where everything's released in volumes. I'm sure that would still be there. It'll just be more spread apart and less time for you to interact with your friends at the stores and stuff.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this. I think you and I, we believe that the TKO model is really the future of this industry as a whole.
Yeah, that's really helpful. You get it all at once. You get it digitally if you want. You get it all the singles at once if you want, or the trade paperback. So, and then you have other companies out there like Bad Idea, that publisher who only wants to do single issues, no trades, no digital, no variants, and a strict one copy per person rule as well.
And a limited amount of comic shops that it's in.
Yeah, I actually was on a conference call with them Friday, I want to say, because Torpedo will be carrying their books. So I had a big conversation with them, and we talked about what they're into, what they're trying to achieve with this, what's next, the second wave of things, and stuff like that. So
nice.
Again, it all comes down to preference. I mean, collect what you want.
There is a certain excitement going in every Wednesday to pick up your books, though. I do miss that. Trade waiting, I do miss that, going in every Wednesday to get your new books. But everything else these guys said, I don't have anything to add to.
And, it's not even that too. I mean, there was a time where if I wasn't working where I work now with the discounts I get and stuff like that, I would still be ordering comics off of I wouldn't go to comic book stores. I would be still ordering singles through IST's parent site, DCBX, just because of the discounts, and you get them all shipped to your door and cool stuff like that. So
yeah, it's convenient in this day and age where everything is getting shipped to your door. It's super convenient. So yesterday I was just kind of chilling around the house and everything like that, and I had enough money in my budget, and I picked up Divinity Original Sin 2 from Amazon. It was on sale for $20. I had it shipped to my house the same day because I live next to an Amazon shipping center. So within 6 hours, I already had the game in my lap. I never had to step foot outside my door. So that's really where we're also getting to that point where it's just the convenience factor, where you've got IST and DCBS, where they will literally deliver comics to your door, so you really don't have to worry about that stuff.
So that's where you were all day yesterday.
Me? No. All day yesterday I was at my mom's.
Oh, I thought you were playing.
Yeah, I was at my mom's. Nah. I was at my mom's yesterday.
Okay. Good choice. Good talk. Good chat. Are we ready to launch into our Daredevil by Bendis discussion?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so ready.
Well, as I said, leading off the show, I started reading this a couple of weeks ago because my partner in crime, Taylor Brown, and I are going to do it for Omnidog's Vault on a crime corner with Tim Burnham, who is a Daredevil expert. We're going to read Brubaker's also, and these guys liked the idea so much, they said, let's do a readathon, and I said, that sounds good. So we're all doing a readathon, and did the three of us completely read the first Omni?
I finished it, yes.
I did.
I did.
All
Okay.
right, perfect. All right, so let's time travel back to 2001 when Bendis.
Oh gosh.
2001. I mean, well, this had to have been post 9/11 too. So, big changes in the industry, big changes in society and America. A somewhat newcomer arrives at Marvel Comics. Just some guy who currently was writing a book called Powers and another little book called Ultimate Spider-Man. He now has taken the reins of the Daredevil book, which right now, even before Bendis' run, was hot and had a huge spotlight on it because just before this, Kevin Smith, the writer-director of Clerks and Chasing Amy, just got off the book. David Mack did a beautiful arc right after this, after Kevin Smith as well. And that leads us into the beginning here of Bendis' run. And if you want a little bit more information about Daredevil in this kind of time frame, we do have a playlist that I made here on our channel of interviews with Frank Miller, Kevin Smith, Bendis, David Mack, all these great creators. There's a playlist of all these interviews of them talking about their time on Daredevil, which is cool. So you want to just kind of start this up? We want to go story arc by story arc, I guess?
Sure. Well, I will say that I hadn't read any Daredevil since Frank Miller's run. So this was my opportunity to finally take the shrink wrap off and get into Daredevil. And I thought the first story arc immediately grabbed me and was compelling. Issue 16, I thought it was fantastic. It came at I'll just give my feelings on it. I'll let you guys go over what it was. Ben Urich interviewing a little kid. But
trying to interview a little kid.
Trying to, yeah, about what had happened with Leapfrog. The art is freaking amazing, and the paneling is especially amazing in this first arc. So I can see why that was something that really woke people up and made them pay attention, because not only is the story great, but the art's great with great paneling. With great paneling comes great responsibility. So it was really cool.
And who's the artist on this?
Alex Maleev.
Okay.
Yeah, this is
David Mack.
No, David Mack was
David
the artist in the first one.
Oh, David
yeah,
Mack.
David Mack.
Painted art issues 16 through 19.
Yeah, Alex Malik didn't come on until after this first initial arc.
Right. He came on at
Because right before this, David Mack was writing and drawing Daredevil.
he
And
was.
then Bendis took over. Right before this, David Mack was writing Daredevil and drawing it. So this kind of connects to his art style from the previous arc as well, which you could find in the Marvel Knights Omnibus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a good it's a really good transition. They did it right. It's a good transition from this style to Alex Maleev. And I love the fact that Leonardo DiCaprio is Peter Parker.
That's right.
If you look, it's Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right here. A young Leo.
That's true.
So this first story arc is, like Jess was saying, is investigative reporter Ben Urich, who's investigating or trying to interview a young boy who suffered something traumatic and is no longer able to really kind of speak in complete sentences or anything really quite coherent. And he's communicating a lot. He's communicating a lot with just drawings of Daredevil and this Leapfrog character fighting one another. And he's writing, and the way he talks is just like a comic book. Like he just says, "Ha ha ha! I am Leapfrog Daredevil. This is the end of your peril," and stuff like that. So, and the art in it's fantastic. So it's really, this is really a Ben Urich story arc. There's very little Daredevil involved. It is very much a grassroots, boots on the ground depiction of Ben Urich, which is good because Ben Urich does play a fairly important kind of role. He is a smaller cog into the machine of the upcoming storyline that comes in it. So you get an idea of who Ben Urich is. You kind of get an idea not only like who he is, but kind of like his morals and his outlook on life and why he does the things he does. He works at the Bugle, so you do get a lot of him butting heads against J. Jonah Jameson. He does know Daredevil's secret identity, and that comes into play later in the stories as well. And J. Jonah Jameson is trying to get Ben Urich off of this quote unquote stupid story that Ben Urich is trying to piece together because he thinks that there is a larger story going on. Ben Urich thinks there's something bigger and more important going on with this kid. He just got this gut feeling, this reporter instinct that he needs to dig deeper, try to figure out what is going on. But J. Jonah Jameson wants him to just do more, stories about other superheroes and things going on and things like that. But you get the story here is about a young boy who later on in the story you kind of get you figure out. I love the paneling, like you said. David Mack is just a beautiful artist. He's a great person. But all the work here from the young boy is depicting this fight between Daredevil and the lame-ass villain Leapfrog on top of a apartment building.
This is really. I would actually say this is more a Ben Urich story than a Daredevil story.
Ben Urich story. You get to know a lot about Ben Urich. So here is some of the drawings that the kid is using to communicate what's going on. So it's like he's drawing things out in a comic book because he's a kid who loves comics, who loves superheroes, who lives in a world of superheroes in the middle of New York City in Hell's Kitchen. But yeah, it is a Ben Urich story. You get to know everything about him, about how he got stabbed by Elektra and his run-ins with the kingpin of crime himself and things like that. But this is a very touching story about a mother and how she is no longer able to kind of reach her child anymore, how he's no longer trying to communicate. And he finds out that it's this Daredevil story going on, or this Daredevil event that happened. So Ben Urich goes to talk to Daredevil, and Daredevil goes, "Yeah, I fought the Leapfrog, but it was no big deal. Like, he's just a lame ass character." But as we get further in, do you want to just get into the whole story and just spoil what happened and stuff?
Well, I don't think we need to spoil it. If we do this much in depth of every arc, we're gonna, be
We're gonna be here for an hour.
We're gonna be here all day.
Yeah,
we're gonna be here all day.
So let's move it forward. So there is. I own a page of David Mack's art from Daredevil. Like I own an original piece of art from David Mack's Daredevil run. It's not this run. It's the second arc later on. Parts of a whole. It's a beautiful. I think I've shown it to you guys before. With Daredevil on it and Echo, but it's great stuff. So this first story is this touching story of a young boy with the traumatic event of him seeing Daredevil and Leapfrog get into this big fight on his rooftop. But there is a big twist. Yeah, that is a bit of a shocker and a bit of a reveal. But this sets the foundation of who Ben Urich is. And at the end of it, here you go. Here's the start of the Alex Maleev Bendis run. This is the issue here, issue 26, where Daredevil becomes the biggest thing that come out of Marvel Comics at this time. The biggest thing.
Bendis wastes no time, man. He hits the ground running in those first few issues. Like he does not waste any time in setting things up.
It's a fun, interesting way that Bendis tells stories. It's something that he gets a lot of flack and a lot of negative attention for today, but him doing it here was groundbreaking and never seen before. And it was a fresh take on Daredevil, fresh take on superhero comics, a fresh take on bringing crime noir to a character like Daredevil and into the Marvel universe. Great stuff. Lots of talking heads. Lots of panels, lots of word balloons, and I love how you almost every issue or so you get a character who is telling a story, but it's laid out, is drawn, and is written in a way where it's like he's telling you the story, like you the reader are being told a story within a story. So it's really great. So this starts with a new character in here. Is it Silk? Is his last name Silk? Is that what you guys were kind of pronouncing it as?
Silk, yeah.
Silk, who is I don't know how much we want to get into this. Silk,
the whole point of the read along was that they would read along with us, so we might as well just start diving into it.
Involved. Yeah,
might as well start diving into it.
So this is the story of Silk, who is the son of a mob boss from, was it Baltimore?
Something like that. It's a rival mob boss to the Kingpin.
Either way, he's the son of a mob boss who is now who apparently made some mistakes and goofed up, and has now kind of been transferred more or less. Like when somebody screws up at their job, they get transferred to like a different store or like a different location. Who is now working for Kingpin, who is now a part of Kingpin's flock. But his first, it's just weird because of the way the story is told. His first kind of thing he wants to do is take down the Kingpin, because at this point, there's not much. You don't really need to read the Marvel Knights story to understand what's going on here, except for one thing, and I mentioned this earlier before. Kingpin is blind.
Yeah, and that happens in the Marvel Knights stuff.
Yeah, that happens in the David Mack storyline. That happens before this, where Kingpin is I forgot what happens. I haven't read in a while. Something happens where he becomes blind. He's attacked. I don't know, something's thrown into his eyes, or he is slashed in the face. Something happens, and he is blind. But that's important because Silk sees Kingpin in his current state as being weak, being a dinosaur, being out of touch, who has lost control of his city because of lots of mistakes that he made. In this storyline, in this story arc, I guess we could continue forward. You don't have to go page by page or anything like that. You realize Silk finds out that Kingpin has always known about Daredevil's secret identity.
Yep. And he finds out through Kingpin's son.
Yeah, Kingpin's crabby, snotty loser of a son Which is weird because I remember him earlier that he used to be like a badass. He used to be known as like the Rose or something. Like he used to be a fairly more intimidating, imposing character. But here he's just like some just sad, pathetic drunk who just hangs out.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
He looks like somebody you find in an alt-right rally.
A little. He just looks like the kind of guy that you just see at a bar who just, has like 6 ex-wives and they all hate him, and he has like 15 kids who all hate him. He's just a sad person. And you can see it from his art.
Like that.
So somebody you would see at an alt-right rally.
So with that information, Silk sees that as being a weakness, as a chance for him to move in on the Kingpin's territory. And he stages a coup, like 100% straight Shakespearean Caesar kind of coup, where he convinces a lot of Kingpin's underlings and lieutenants, or whatever you want to call them, to straight up just stab Kingpin to death in this book. Stab him to death. They just totally circle him at a meeting, and they just take him down. And this is great because it kind of takes Kingpin off the chessboard for a little bit, and you bring in something who's someone who I think is a little bit more scarier than the Kingpin, and that's Kingpin's wife, Vanessa.
Yeah.
Who comes in and just wrecks shop. She's done with all the crime. She's done with all the fiascos and the Daredevils and the Spider-Mans, and just says, you know what? I need to take care of my husband. And she just, it even says on here, which is one of the craziest things that's in here. She sells all the Kingpin's financial everything, his property, his crime territory, Fisk Tower. It says in the book, she sells Fisk Tower to Donald Trump. So there is a Donald Trump mention in here that Donald Trump owns a part of Kingpin's crime syndicate, the towers and stuff. So really kind of interesting 20 years later where we are today looking back into this. But either way,
I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole right now.
It's interesting and it's funny, and it's really just kind of an eye-opening, kind of thing in here. Comics predicting the future. How fun is that kind of stuff, right? But you also get in this story a lot of lame-ass villains come up. Lame ass villains in here, because the first one, oh god, who is this? Oh, Nitro. Is Nitro, right? Nitro's the first one who shows up because Daredevil is or Bruce, or excuse me, Matt Murdock is in a trial. Was it a
pre-Civil War Nitro? Pre-Civil War Nitro.
Pre-Civil War, this guy was just a lame ass character who is hired to take out Matt Murdock right after the trial, and it blows him up and blows up all these people right in front of the steps of the courthouse. So with that, Silk takes out Kingpin. Vanessa comes in, shatters Kingpin's empire, spreads it across the winds, and sells it all to like different Kingpins and other crime bosses. And Silk, at one point, gets arrested at the end of the story. Am I missing anything, guys? I'm sorry if I'm skipping ahead.
No, you're doing a good job.
Okay, so
you're doing a great job.
So towards the end of all this, the FBI catches up with Silk, takes him down, and of course, like a little sad snitch, the first thing he does is he tells the FBI, "I have information. I want to plead bargain." And they say, "We want your dad," because his dad's this big crime boss in Chicago, I think it is. And he goes, "I can't do that, but I can tell you that Matt Murdock, the blind lawyer, is Daredevil."
And all this is said in confidentiality. It's not supposed to get out. The 2 FBI agents aren't supposed to leak this.
Right.
And it leaked like the next morning.
Yeah, it went out then. Like TMZ was in the room and they heard it the minute that came out. Like it leaked the very next morning.
And J. Jonah Jameson was furious about it.
Yeah, I love that moment.
Because J. Jonah Jameson got scooped by an even rattier rag magazine called the Daily Globe, who came out and said that Daredevil's secret identity is Matt Murdock, this blind lawyer from Hell's Kitchen. And that's when it just amps up. Like, this is one of these things where it just keeps cranking the knob up to 11, to 12, to 13. It just keeps going and going and going. And at this point, Matt Murdock's life is a shamble and is a disaster. And all the attention is on him. The front of his home, his little brownstone, is just a swarm and a mob of news reporters and tabloid reporters and everything else, just making his life a living hell. And now that his identity is out, he is in deep crap, and villains are coming after him at this point.
It should also be noted, this is kind of the first time where it was like, how do you put the genie back in the bottle? After your secret identity is pretty much exposed to the public like that, and he's an attorney, how can you keep hiding it, or how do you like basically just lie and try to keep your identity hidden?
Right.
And Bendis really does a good job of getting deep into Matt Murdock. This is really more of a Matt Murdock run than it is Daredevil. There's very little Daredevil. There's very little like boom, pow, bang, like supervillains and superheroes punching one another. But you really get deep into the darkness that's going on with Matt Murdock at this point. And you got Froggy Nelson, who's trying his best to help him and tell him, it might be just time to just roll with it and come out and just deal with it, as things happen. And one of my favorite parts is Matt Murdock comes out. He has a press conference, and he just denies, lawsuit, just dropping lawsuits on everybody that he can to deny these allegations of him being Daredevil. But it is so hard because, in front of his house is all these reporters, and then Mr. Hyde shows up and starts breaking into his house. He throws a van into Matt Murdock's house because, he's got his ass kicked by Daredevil so many times, and he finally knows where he's at. You can get a hold of him. And while this is happening, Spider-Man shows up. Spider-Man then shows up in front of his house. So how hard is it for you to try and deny that you're a superhero when all your superhero buddies start showing up in front of your house where there's 101 million reporters there taking pictures and everything else like that? So it really just gets really tight here. It gets really kind of scary. You really start to feel for Matt Murdock and what's going on with him.
Black Widow shows up, Luke Cage, a whole bunch of guys.
Yeah, Black Widow shows up, Luke Cage shows up. I mean, you get a good list of superheroes in this book, but it's not the way you think either. And we'll talk about that maybe a little bit later on. So he gets outed.
Sorry, did you guys notice this kind of crosses over with Alias?
It's got Jessica Jones in it and Luke.
Well, no. If I remember correctly, there's a particular scene where you see somebody walks into Matt Murdock's office, and you see Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. They're standing outside his office because they were his bodyguards. And if I remember right, in Alias, you see what that conversation is that they have outside of his office.
Oh, I haven't read Alias, so I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of good connections and stuff like this. So Black Widow shows up, like you guys were saying. Trying to figure out where we are here. He talks to Vanessa. Elektra shows up at one point as well. All here just trying to show support to her former lover, Matt Murdock. All of his friends are coming out to give support. And as this is going on, it's lawsuit. I'm trying to just move past this arc a little bit.
And the people are just hounding him. They keep trying to trick him into proving that he's not blind, because now everybody think, well, he's lying about being blind. He's never been blind. This was all a ruse. And people go up to him and ask him, hey, what color is my shirt, or something like that. Or they'll try to use, they'll try to give him a newspaper, and he has to keep playing. He's like, no, I can't see what you're handing me.
Yeah, or someone's even like, what do you like my new sweater? Stuff like that. So the next arc is a really good one too. This is probably gonna be Gio's favorite arc. So in the middle of all this, all these lawsuits, these allegations of Daredevil identity coming out as being Matt Murdock, you get a change of pace. You get a little bit of a gear shift here, where there is some punk kids who are robbing a pawn shop. Yeah, they're robbing a pawn shop.
Yeah.
And a hero shows up to save the day in the middle of the robbery attempt. And in the middle of this robbery attempt, an officer is shot and killed. And you realize that it is the one and only Puerto Rican superhero.
White Tiger.
White Tiger.
You got White Tiger. So you get this great White Tiger arc here as well. Right in the middle of all this happening, you get this White Tiger story going on where he is being pinned down as being a cop killer. And Luke Cage shows up and tells Matt Murdock, hey, you need to take this case. You need to be this guy's attorney because of so many different reasons and all the stuff that's going on. So Matt Murdock takes the case of White Tiger. What's his real name? I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember it in here.
It's not germane.
Is that the first White Tiger?
I want to say this is the second White Tiger.
Because the first one is Hector Ayala, I think.
Yeah. So this is a story arc. Again, it's a really quiet story arc for the most part. It's basically 75% of this story arc is a court trial, which is really weird and odd that we spend 5 or 6 issues in a courtroom with Matt Murdock and the opposing attorney just arguing back and forth, supplying evidence. They're trying to convince you that, he is a killer, even though, we as a reader know he's not. But you start getting all these cases and all this evidence of why he's crazy and his wife is getting ready to leave him. And all this stuff is going on with this court trial. You get this awesome shot here of White Tiger's suit. That's part of evidence. That shows that there is some blood spatter from the cop that was killed. But Matt Murdock is here. His whole thing is, there's no gunshot residue. There's no way you can place a murder weapon in his hands and all this other stuff going on. So it's this big court trial that goes on. And it's really good because I'm saying it's hard to make something interesting like a court trial. It's fine on like Law and Order and you can kind of do things like that. But in a comic book where you're just kind of reading and following the art, usually that's boring as shit. But this is actually a very interesting story as well. And again, like I said, you get a laundry list of superheroes that show up as character witnesses. So you get you do get Reed Richards. But he's not in his superhero costume. He's just a witness in a suit sitting on the witness stand. You get Doctor Strange. Again, just there's no magic. There's no Eye of Agamotto. There's no Dormammu. It's just him talking about what it takes to be a superhero in this town. Iron Fist is here. Alias or Jessica Jones is here. All these characters kind of show up. And do we want to get into...
Which, by the way, the opposing lawyer, the opposing lawyer, huge dick. The opposing lawyer, yeah, he's a big bag of dicks.
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to be if you're going to be a prosecutor,
We should jump to his meeting with the future honey.
His meeting with his future honey?
Yeah, Miller.
Oh, yes, his yeah.
Okay, so that's the next part. Do we want to talk about the verdict?
No.
Okay, so we'll pass the verdict.
No, leave that out because
that's a twist. If you haven't read it, you need to read that.
Yeah, that was a shocking moment where I was like, "You son of a bitch."
Yeah, I totally forgot what happened in that too. I haven't read this in 20. I read this in singles issues as they were coming out. Yeah. I moved from California to Vegas during this, and I realized that every comic shop I went to, I made sure that Daredevil was on my pull list. So it was that great. So this one, yes, you do get the first appearance of Mila, who is Daredevil's love interest through Bendis' run. And of course, they meet in your typical comic book superhero fashion, where Daredevil saves her life from a impending truck accident.
And
by throwing her into plate glass, by the way. So
and yeah, like just the same an aspect about her is she is also she's blind as well.
Yeah, which is really cool. It's an interesting concept because Daredevil. Daredevil is always. I love the fact that Foggy even addresses it. Matt's like, "So is she attractive?" Foggy's like, "Yes, God damn it, you date supermodels. I don't know how you do it, but even though you're blind, you always date supermodels."
Yeah, dude. Matt Murdock is definitely the biggest. Like, I don't want to. Pussy
Yeah,
now?
take it easy.
He's the biggest Marvel superhero slut there is in the Marvel universe. That guy gets some tail.
Yeah, but for some reason, whatever, if you ever want a female character to die, just have him date
Matt Murdock's girlfriend.
Yeah,
that's a good point because that point is really hit upon a lot in these story arcs. That Daredevil, every woman he's ever loved, Elektra, and Karen Page, they all have been just brutally murdered because of him being Daredevil. They were both killed by the same guy. It's a bullseye thing, but yeah, that's a heavy part of these story arcs too.
and a lot of this stuff also pays off in Mark Waid's run, which you nailed it. Like Daredevil's girlfriends, a lot of them don't end up okay. They either end up in a mental institution or dead.
Yeah. And so this next arc after the story or after the White Tiger trial is the Owl. Again, another lame ass villain that Bendis kind of rearranges a little bit and makes really cool and relevant. So in this storyline, you get the Owl, you get the introduction of a new street drug that's based off of it's a MGH, mutant growth hormone, which is a drug that's on the streets that is being taken by gang members and being sold and everything like that. That is made from the genetic scrapings of the Owl. But they're going around saying that it's Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man hormones or whatever.
Gross.
No,
People different abilities and stuff based on your own genetics. So people are taking drugs that are literally messing with their genetics at this point.
correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't that a Morrison thing from his new X-Men run?
MGH?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I forgot if it was or not.
Maybe somebody in the chat can let us know, but yeah, I'm not sure about that. So this is another. You get Alex Maleev back on the art duties. I love his art. This is it's a new kind of art style, even for today. It's unique and awesome. Where a lot of it feels like the backgrounds and stuff like that is like some weird, awesome Photoshop filter. But even beyond that, like just his character designs of like Owl and his facial expressions in a way that he's able to do all these talking heads is really interesting.
Before we get into Typhoid Mary, why don't we take a break and call it here and continue next week?
Okay. We're past an hour. Okay.
Because he takes down the Owl in a brutal fashion, which is awesome.
Oh, he kicks his ass. And he whoops his ass. And it's not even a close fight.
And Kingpin gets his revenge on Silk.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's not dead. And that's not Tyler Blunt, so I'm not answering it. My brother, he can wait. So let's, why don't we stop right before Typhoid Mary's introduced, or right as Typhoid Mary's introduced, because that was a story arc too.
You're stopping at the point where we meet my ex-girlfriend.
I'm trying to figure out where we are on there so you can kind of just let everybody know that we're putting it.
Issue 46.
Yep. That's like
Silk gets busted. He's in prison.
We're close to the end of it.
There's about a good halfway point here.
Well, this is a good question from Jay Don because Elektra's been killed by Bullseye, but how is she still in this book?
The Hand.
Yep. If you're ever in doubt of how they bring back Elektra back, it's the Hand. One more death and resurrection, and she gets a free snow cone from Dairy Queen. Nice little ice cream.
The Hand has a way of resurrecting their own.
Yeah,
over and over again.
So at this point, Kingpin's not dead. That was a facade created by his wife, who stored him away in Switzerland so he could be brought back to health. And we didn't talk about this part. Vanessa, because of all the trouble that Richard Fisk caused, her own son murders him. She kills her own son.
Yeah, and killing all the other crime lords.
Yeah,
cold-blooded. And she didn't even bat an eye when she does it too. She's bam.
And she even tells him, "You're the biggest mistake I ever made. I should have aborted you or something fucked up like that." Like she really just adds insult to injury right before she kills him because of all that. And yeah, at this point, Kingpin's back, and he's slowly he's causing distractions for Daredevil. Like I said, Daredevil's throwing a bunch of lawsuits against the Daily Globe who outed him. And Kingpin, off panel, rips the head off the owner of the newspaper in his swimming pool. So he's slowly causing these distractions for Daredevil that start building snowball effect to what's coming up ahead. So yeah, let's go ahead and put a pin in it. Good idea, Jess. We'll begin. We'll pick this up in issue 46 next week with Typhoid Mary and her "I wear belts around my boobs and let my boobs hang out of my jackets," and it's super hot because she's super crazy.
I've dated that.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
I dated that. It was called the last 4 years of my life.
So I'm in the middle of reading volume 2, so I'll continue reading that. So we'll make this a weekly thing as we go through the Bendis Daredevil run.
Yeah, I like this. This is pretty cool, man. I mean, we're also going to get pretty soon into one of my favorite moments, where Daredevil versus Kingpin 2, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, and there's so much good stuff in here. So much good stuff.
Before we go, are there any questions in the audience that from the chat that you get asked before we go?
Somebody asked earlier about the Goon. If you guys recommend it.
What's that?
Oh, no, never mind. Sorry.
Somebody asked if we recommend the Goon.
Yes.
Yes, I recommend the Goon heavily. I love the Goon. InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. There's always an Omnibros Live discount code every quarter. Over $50 in an order from InStock Trades in the United States gets you free shipping, fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com. Any idea when those Fable compendiums are coming, Jess? They were just announced. So I would assume probably the first one would be in the summer.
I don't know if they were announced. I think that was just a advanced solicit.
Oh, okay.
It's the solicit that publishers give to
Penguin, to Random House.
To Penguin and to Random House and to the big public, because they do that way in advance. So those people, Barnes and Noble and Amazon, stuff like that, know that that's a pending thing coming up. So it hasn't been announced officially solicited comic book wise.
Okay, good. So we actually don't know, Big Beard. Sorry. About David Mack's run. Is it collected anywhere in hardcover? All I have is Parts of a Whole.
So Parts of a Whole is the next story arc that actually is we skip it in the Bendis omnibus. They skip over it to continue Bendis' run. That's Parts of a Whole. So that's I think that's a standard size hardcover. The previous Daredevil run that takes place right after Kevin Smith's run is included in the Marvel Knights omnibus. So that is in there.
We're already approaching the end of this too. Just from here, what have we got? 12 issues left in this omnibus?
I think so. Well, part of it gets skipped because the Parts of the Whole stuff gets skipped.
Yeah.
So this is 26 through 50, and then 56 through 60, and we were 46 we left off on, right?
I think it was 48. I think it was 46, 48.
46, yeah.
So 46. So yeah, that's about a good halfway point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a little bit more than halfway.
So it's coming up next is Typhoid Mary. You get some Bullseye action coming up as well.
Get
Mhm.
beat down.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all these characters. Here's the thing: we know these characters are. We know Elektra's back. We know Bullseye's around. We know Typhoid Mary's coming back. But Bendis really didn't do anything with them for a long time. We just knew they were in the background somewhere.
Well, yeah, because he was building this story. I mean, you have to realize,
Mhm.
you have to kind of think back, especially when I was reading this. Imagine trying to read this monthly, month after month. You just get one issue. You get one little puzzle piece of the story over and over. Going forward. So we are issue 46. What does this say? 2 years into the run.
It's very Bendis's writing is very decompressed. He stretches things out a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, I don't mind. Oh, I thought it all made a compelling story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at Ultimate Spider-Man. In Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Man doesn't get his suit or he doesn't become Spider-Man until like issue 6, issue 7?
4.
I thought it was later than that.
4 is when he gets the suit and all that kind of stuff.
Ah, damn, it's been a while.
Yeah. So,
Weird.
all right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this, and I hope you guys. Here's your chance to kind of catch up too. So we're going to spread this out to next week. The Omnibus is still available. It's not available on in-stock trades, but you can still find it at other retailers at the moment as well, digitally. However you want to do it. If you got the singles or the complete collections, follow along with us. Join us for next week.
Mm-hmm.
And Gio, we haven't heard from you for a while. Where can we find you on the interweb?
You can find me on my channel. We Can Geek Them. Not talking about Daredevil, talking more about anime, comics, manga, all that fun stuff. So subscribe if you can.
Yay.
Comics Guide 101.
You can find me at Comics Guide 101 on the old Facebook on Twitter and on YouTube. Don't add me on Facebook. Somebody tried to add me this morning on Facebook. Why? I tell you guys not to.
Gabe.
You can find me here Sundays and Mondays. I'm also in the Omnibus Collectors Facebook group and Instagram. You can find me. Gabe loves 90s comics. So
I promise. Huh?
Go
ahead, Jess. Sorry.
Yep. You can find me, Omnidog, and Omnidog's Vault. I just put out a Essential Collected Editions March 2020 this morning.
Ooh.
And Omnidog's Vault on YouTube and Omnidogs_Vault on Instagram. And I'm going to post some stuff on Instagram like as soon as we get done with this because I got a new statue.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
Does the wife know?
Who?
Exactly.
So thank you to the chat. We had some good questions and we had good participation. Thank you to all who view us. Thank you to InStockTrades.com and peace and love. Peace and love.
Hi, everybody.